Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are taking a really exhaustive look at the quality blueprint for a massive global player, the Iveco Group.
Mm.
We're working directly from their latest Customer-Specific Requirements, or CSR document. This one is Revision 01, dated November 24th, 2025.
And this isn't just, some supplementary reading. This is the mandatory compliance layer that, and I'm quoting here, completes the requirements of the IATF 11649 standard.
So if you're a supplier, or an organization as they call you, and you want to do business with a Iveco Group, which also includes FDT,
Then this document is basically the law. It's non-negotiable.
our mission today is to cut through some of that legalese and really dissect the hyper-specific demands that go way beyond what the global standard asks for.
Exactly. What are the non-negotiable rules for guaranteeing quality and safety when your customer is this big?
And right from the start, in Section A, they lay down the foundation. It's not just the IATF standard, is it?
No, not at all. It's a whole stack of prerequisite documents. You have to comply with their general purchasing conditions, their specific quality of supplies procedure.
And the mandatory use of the IMDS system, the International Material Data System.
Right. Plus their own process audit and potential supplier assessment procedures. It signals right away that you're entering a very, very tightly controlled ecosystem.
It's not just about being certified. It's about doing everything their way.
It's total integration from day one.
Okay, let's jump into the real core of this, starting with special characteristics. How does Iveco define what makes a characteristic key?
A characteristic becomes key if a nonconformity, a failure, could compromise one of three things.
And those are?
Passenger safety, first and foremost. Then law or legal approval conformity. And finally, customer satisfaction. If it hits any of those, it's a key characteristic.
I noticed they use two different codes for safety, PQCS and CNH2S. Why the two systems?
That's a really crucial detail. It shows the complexity of the group. If you're supplying FPT, FDT Industrial, the safety parts are marked PQCS.
Okay.
But if you supply the Iveco vehicle side, the code is CNH2-S.
So as a supplier, I have to track both.
You have to. And you must maintain what they call a correlation table.
A correlation table, so a translation guide.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It connects your own internal part numbering or symbology to their specific system. It's not a suggestion. It's a mandatory living document.
I guess that ensures there's zero ambiguity in a recall situation.
Zero. They can trace a key characteristic from their design file right down to your shop floor drawing instantly.
This level of detail seems to carry over into testing, functional and dimensional testing.
Oh, absolutely. The big thing here is that the supplier must proactively plan and do these tests for every single product family.
Even if Iveco hasn't specifically asked for it.
Even then, you can't wait to be told. It's a mandatory self-policing mechanism built right into the contract.
And the frequency is pretty demanding. A full self-qualification every 2 years.
Every 2 years, correct. And on top of that, a complete dimensional and material control check once a year. For a high-volume part, that's a huge logistical undertaking.
It ensures there's no sort of slow degradation of the process or tooling over time.
Precisely.
But this next part, this is where the liability really hits home for me. The documentation storage. 15 years.
15, yeah. This is maybe one of the most daunting requirements in the whole document.
For all records related to these special characteristics.
Every single one. Inspection reports, material certs, process data, self-qualifications, all of it has to be stored for a minimum of 15 years.
That's well beyond the life of the part plus 1 year, which is more typical.
Oh, way beyond. Practically, it means you need an incredibly robust, probably digital, and definitely secure archiving system. You're storing evidence against potential litigation that could happen a decade from now.
The cost of just maintaining that archive becomes a real part of your cost of quality.
A very real part.
Okay, so let's move from the product itself to the company's operations. The CSRs link quality directly to sustainability and governance.
They do. They make it very clear that quality isn't just about the part. It's about how you operate as a business.
So what kind of proof, what kind of tangible evidence are they looking for?
They want to see evidence in three main areas. First is personnel safety, so things like fire permits, work safety assessments.
Standard stuff.
Mostly. Second is environmental safeguards, so all your operative licenses. But the third one is interesting.
Which is?
Interaction with the surrounding community. You need to show you have procedures for communicating with third parties about social or environmental impacts.
So if your factory is near a town, you need a documented plan for how you'd handle, say, noise complaints.
Exactly that. It defines you as a responsible corporate citizen, not just a parts factory.
But if we're talking responsibility, I think the REACH and IMDS section is where it gets really serious.
This is where the liability transfer becomes absolute. It's all about uploading the chemical composition of your parts.
Right, for the end-of-life vehicle directive and REACH regulations in Europe.
Yes, and the supplier is held 100% responsible for the accuracy of that data. But here's the real kicker.
Go on.
That responsibility extends to the data related to the products of your own suppliers.
Wait a second. So if I'm a Tier 1 supplier to Iveco, I'm now responsible for the chemical data from my Tier 2s and Tier 3s.
You are on the hook for their mistakes. If they report something incorrectly, it's your problem.
Wow. That forces you to become a chemical auditor for your entire supply chain.
It does. And you have to have all this data uploaded and verified before the pilot phase. They won't even build prototypes until the chemical composition is locked in.
That requires a huge amount of control. Which brings us to personnel requirements, like the customer representative.
Absolutely. Top management has to officially name at least one customer representative, someone in quality or technical.
And this person needs to have real authority, I assume.
Real authority. They are the person empowered to ensure these Iveco rules are actually being followed across the whole organization.
So the rules don't just get stuck in the quality department.
Exactly. And they have a similar rule for on-the-job training.
What's the specific mandate there?
Your procedures must specifically prevent contractors or agency personnel from being assigned to quality-critical jobs.
So they're trying to eliminate risks from temporary or less trained staff on the most important process.
That's it. High-risk jobs must be done by permanent, fully trained employees. No exceptions.
Which leads us nicely into performance management. Iveco demands a monthly performance review at the supplier's board level.
A monthly deep dive, yes. And they specify exactly what needs to be on the agenda.
What are those mandatory metrics?
They have to analyze the key indicators from Iveco's own system, the SQP system. That means PPM, of course, but also PIQ and CSL.
Let's define those. PIQ.
Performance indicator quality. It's a broader score than just PPM defects. It includes things like how well you manage corrective actions, your audit scores, your overall responsiveness.
A more holistic health score for your quality system.
You could say that.
And CSL-controlled shipment level. This is when things have gone wrong.
Seriously wrong. CSL1 means you're doing 100% inspection on your own dime.
CSL2.
CSL2 means you failed to fix the problem, and now a third-party inspection company approved by Iveco is doing the sorting. Also at your expense.
And I'm almost afraid to ask about CSL3.
CSL3 is the final step. Iveco themselves, or their agents, can come to your site to manage containment. The costs for all of this, scraps, reworks, the CSL interventions, warranty claims, recalls, it all has to be tracked and reviewed by the board.
And they have to document the actions they're taking to fix the problems Iveco flagged.
Yes. But the enforcement goes even further in the next section, on special notifications. This, for me, is the real aha moment.
The self-reporting mandate.
The self-reporting mandate. A supplier must inform their own IATF certification body.
The people who gave them their certificate.
Exactly. They have to inform them within 5 working days if Iveco puts them in certain penalty boxes.
So Iveco is using the certification bodies as their own enforcement arm.
That's the whole point. You have to self-report if Iveco puts you on NBH new business hold, or if they escalate you to controlled shipment level 2 or 3.
And if you don't report it within 5 days.
It becomes a major non-conformance at your next IATF audit. You could literally lose your certification over it. The stakes could not be higher.
It's a closed-loop system of accountability.
A very tight loop.
Let's pivot one last time to crisis planning, the contingency plans.
Right. And the list of disruptions they want you to plan for covers basically everything.
Equipment failure, material shortages.
Natural disasters, fires, utility disruptions, and even a workforce shortage.
They want total visibility into anything that could stop your production line.
And they want it fast.
Yeah.
This is where we see the 6-hour rule.
6 hours. That is terrifyingly quick.
In case of any sudden interruption, you have to get the information to Iveco Group no more than 6 hours after it happens.
So a fire breaks out on the factory floor, the clock starts ticking immediately.
Immediately. You have 6 hours to assess the initial impact and contact both Iveco purchasing and their manufacturing contacts.
What kind of organization does that require? It's not just planning anymore. It's immediate 247 crisis communication.
It requires a dedicated crisis team that's always on call. And on top of reporting, you also have to provide evidence that you can maintain the required production capacity.
So you don't just report the problem. You have to simultaneously show them your recovery plan and prove you have the capacity to catch up.
Exactly. You need to prove you have redundancy built into your system.
So, to summarize this whole deep dive, we're seeing a shift where quality management becomes about total liability and immediate accountability.
Absolutely. From 15-year documentation storage for safety parts to that incredible 5-day self-reporting rule to your own certification body.
And the detail is just immense.
It is. It shows that in the automotive world, quality isn't a static certificate on the wall. It's a dynamic, legally binding transfer of control down the entire supply chain.
Right down to the chemical composition of a tiny component from a Tier 3 supplier.
They want to see everything.
It's a complete accountability loop.
A loop designed to push all the risk mitigation down to the supplier level long before it can ever impact Iveco's own production.
Which brings us to our final thought. Considering that incredibly strict 6-hour reporting rule for something like an equipment failure or even a sudden workforce shortage, how drastically does this level of customer oversight change what risk management even means for a supplier? Does it push planning from just being proactive to being in a state of immediate, constant crisis mobilization? That's something for you to consider.